Introductions from it.
33 1/2 pounds. This gentleman hails from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Boxing fans, here is Greg Washington.
While fighting at the belt.
Charles, Louisiana, on a 4th round TKO.
Out right now, because remember, he did make that trip, and I think he can't go all out. He's got to conserve energy.
Out still.
Well, that came on May 24th of this year when he fought a guy working one of the hardest punches in the junior lightweight division, or maybe even the lightweight division. He stopped Greg in the 8th round. Greg took some shots in that fight. He's got a good chin.
Calvin scored. Fighting in Tennessee and Louisiana. And I asked him why fight on such short notice.
The answer, honest answer.
That's it. Chris Calvin, 3-time Navy.
2 fighters that come to mind right now, rated fighters, world rated fighters, junior middleweight.
Again, mostly just feeling each other. Round 1. You're watching Top Rank Boxing. Trunks, hear what his trainer talked to him about between rounds.
He's on it off there. He's calling and shoot quick, short right hands underneath.
Sam, I've been around, except just then.
Okay. Chris Calvin about is that reminding his fighter to pace himself.
That he's never been 8 rounds, so he's got that on his mind. He says he feels he can work harder, which 8-round factor on his mind.
Scored with a methodically move.
Calvin, I think, is starting to see. It's not the fastest left hand in the world. Calvin sees it, he waits for the left hand, and jumps right over it with a right hand.
Blood coming out of the mouth of Calvin has been scoring. Now Washington tries to turn it around and does so effectively. Losses, one in his first in July, lost to Keith Stevens, and right now
Now, because we haven't seen him much, we don't know that if Washington goes back to the ropes, I tend to think that's a bad place for him, but maybe it's not, because maybe he'll just make
effective those short, choppy punches. And out for round number 3 of this, Calvin and Greg Washington under his honor worked on between rounds. Scoring well.
So I have this fight here in the 3rd round. 1 round for Calvin, 1 round each.
Out of the mouth of Greg Washington. Blood continues to flow out of his mouth. Referee Joe Cortez looking. His wife Nina is back home in Nashville, where she's expecting their first child in a month.
This morning she made him breakfast in Nashville, and here he is miles away tonight, beating up on him. And I do mean it. He is beating up on Greg Washington.
Calvin trying to cover up. Calvin got.
Say he was getting beat up. He says, "Oh no, I'm not." And he's starting to come back now.
One thing for Chris Calvin.
Some shots in this cruise.
Right. Short, effective punches getting in there. This is scheduled for 8 rounds. I don't know if either guy can last 8 rounds at this pace.
I really think the longer this fight goes, Greg Washington has a much to Dennis Cruz, and then in his last division to Freddie Reyes right here in Atlantic City.
And he's got Calvin covering up a little bit. Washington just spitting blood. And
yeah, it's bothering him because that cut, when you're cut.
Chris Calvin takes a left and a right. He stays right there. Calvin staying right in.
2 and 3. The longer this fight goes, I've said it before, I'll say it again, because he's been there. The longer it goes, I think the better Washington is going to do if that cut doesn't. Maybe it is right now. We're going to get the round.
Calvin gets in with a right hand. Has Washington in a bit of trouble here. Washington covering up. Calvin trying to find some punching room.
And he said it's getting worse. If I have ever seen Sam, I really think he's moving, having him move the way he wants him to go. If Calvin steps back, he
half a minute to go in this 4th round. Move in. You're watching Top Rank Boxing. It's the moment.
Last round of the fight because the doctor came in.
The front of the trunks. Started bleeding early in the fight.
And had his own mouthpiece in. Because sometimes if you wear many fights, and very rarely do I ever don't have that.
Minute gone by, round 5.
Over the eye, style or anything else.
Fairly quiet. Chris Calvin has found boxing. working harder, more of a mental approach on his part.
Your first child.
And again, he got a call. Round 5, we're scheduled for 8. Under the upper lip of Greg Washington on it. Chris Calvin looks to be ahead in this fight. Let's get a word.
Jab. All right. Jab, right hand.
Manager of Chris Calvin. Washington continues to mix it up.
Recorded as a pro in 1981, and all 4 knockout rounds. One of them was against Robert Johnson. A lot of people.
He continues to ask Greg Washington if he's okay. He had a close look between rounds at that cut. Fight his way off the ropes. Midway through the 6th round of the scheduled 8 rounds. Good right by Greg Washington.
A few inches, a little bit low.
Round 6 tonight. Half a minute to go in the round. Again, blood coming out of the mouth of Greg Washington, who's in the bad cut under the upper lip.
So
final seconds of round 6. You're watching Top Rank round 7. Dominated the fight, Randy.
Well, I called the first round. So I wouldn't be surprised to lose the fight as a ground.
Well, early, both guys.
Chris Calvin has done and just pacing himself.
Stevens and lost a decision in July, and then his last fight was so has been doing some holding. Breakfast.
Release the bowl of oatmeal.
And Greg Washington covering up, and Washington answering back with a counter left. Something to turn the down. A lot of blood has come out of the and the caught on that cut. Chris Calvin is dominated. Who rounds mouthpiece again goes flying from Greg Washington.
One of those rubber mouthpieces I was talking about earlier. I can't really pick it out so good, but
holding in the last couple of rounds. Al Earthquake to Roberto Duran and Kirkland Lang as we start off Saturday night at the fights. Top Rank Boxing on Thursdays. Round 8. Right hand by Washington as he tries to close with a flurry.
The right hands that Washington are throwing, a lot of them are thrown with a semi-open.
Good work by Chris Calvin.